Hey, Marquise, do you want to pull a slide deck up? Show your
Yeah.
slide deck.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. We'll get started in just one moment. All right. So it's 1 minute to the hour, and we'll kick this presentation off on driving intelligent user adoption. In let's give it 3 or 4 minutes as people are, working through GoToWebinar, and it's I won't call them challenges, but it's different than some other platforms. So we'll give people a few minutes to get in here, and then we'll get rolling.
Cool.
We have an international audience today, probably 6 time zones at least. So sometimes it'll be good morning, sometimes it'll be good afternoon. So we've got a good crowd.
Exactly. It's very excited to see how many registrants we have coming in from across the world.
Well, this is a subject that's, I think, timely as we progress into 2023.
Yeah, definitely, especially with so many people working from home and the need to onboard from different remote locations. It's been, it'll be definitely quite useful for everyone.
If you have any questions, please add them to the questions section of GoToWebinar. We'll get to the questions through the session if we think it's relative to what we're talking about, and then, or at the end, we'll do a Q&A session.
Yeah, definitely. And then if you have any questions that come up along during the presentation, please feel free to put those questions in the comment box as well, and then we can either get to them before the live demo session or answer them during the live demo session and then answer them at the end as well.
Okay, I'm going to kick things off. Hello, everybody. My name is Rick McCutcheon, and I'm here today with my friends from ClickLearn, the #1 digital adoption platform for the Dynamics ecosystem. We're going to talk about driving intelligent user adoption across Power Platform, Dynamics 365, and beyond. So if we could just have the next slide there, Marquise. Okay, so today we're going to talk about who we are, what we do, why digital adoption, and ClickLearn, and how does it work. And then we'll have a Q&A. Presenting with me today, I'm Rick McCutcheon again, Dynamics 365 MVP and longtime ClickLearn advocate. Will be Marquise Caldwell from ClickLearn. And to show you the magic of ClickLearn, we're going to have Christine Eltz come on a little later and really kind of show you how this thing pulls it all together. So let's go to the next slide. So user adoption. This is a really interesting subject, and I love this subject because we're getting to a point where all these low-code engines, we can build things pretty quick, but we're really finding out that change is difficult within organizations, and user adoption is worth the investment. So user adoption, investment in long-term learning and growth of your business for supporting confidence and improving competence. And ClickLearn, you'll see, is a global organization, with offices in Europe, Asia, and the United States. So let's head to the next slide. Virtually every company is on some sort of digital transformation journey, and we're really seeing this, last 2 years, right? When we're sent home to work, and we realized that we weren't all sitting in the cubicles and helping each other out, or heading into meetings, or it was getting more difficult to run things on spreadsheets. So organizations went through a huge jump in these last, I'm going to say, 24 months to really move their applications to the cloud. Now they're really starting to feel, okay, we need to improve the adoption of what the investments we made, and this is where ClickLearn comes in. So some are progressing while others are struggling. So 84% of digital transformations projects fail due to failed adoption of technology. Now, fail's a big word, right? So they failed, I think, really to achieve what we wanted them to achieve. And being a CRM MVP, I see this time and time again, right? Where we go out, we build a CRM system, we deploy it to people, and they kind of start working with it, and they probably, well, it's better if I do this on a spreadsheet. It's better if I keep this in a folder in Outlook. And the next thing you know, the information we need really to drive an organization, to share it, to be able to use the insightful tools that Microsoft provide for us, it's just not there because our data's not in good shape. So I think not getting good data, a big part of that is this whole digital transformation and projects really not meeting the level of adoption that they need to. So let's go to the next slide. So many reasons, many transforming companies are not prepared to change behavior along with systems too, right? And in the cloud, we change application more than we traditionally did before too. So strategy and technology solutions remain as intentions until we implement executable strategies to mitigate challenges. Organizations are not aware of how or why they need to implement change to the way they work, and a change of product or process does not mean change of culture, right? We didn't do it that way before. Why are we doing it this way today? So, market feedback, but training is not included in the budget. And I've got to tell you, I've deployed over 200 CRM systems for companies, and many times I get brought in and we sit down and we look at the project plan, and there's 200 lines on the project plan and one line at the bottom it says train the trainer. And I explain to people that this is going to fail, right? Because you've really got to break your projects down into three: into planning, into deployment, into user adoption, if you really want them to succeed. So the adoption of new software is a struggle, as training is not always thought in the process or budget. Documentation is not a priority, not enough resources to create training content and documentation. And this is a big problem that I see in a lot of ERP projects, especially. Like, we don't document the CRM projects as well as we do the ERP projects. But now that we're in the cloud and we're not doing an upgrade every 6 months, we're doing constant changes to the application. This is where we need a real tool like ClickLearn that can make those changes on the go, and one change to this document changes the rest of the documents, and Christine's going to show you that a little later. So content becomes outdated with every update. With each Microsoft update or change in process, instructions and screenshots need to be redone. We need to onboard remotely. Acquired companies or new employees need onboarding across locations and countries and in different languages. So this is really, I think, the magic of ClickLearn, where we can produce everything in English, produce it in French, produce it in German, and translate it to over 100 different languages with just a few clicks. Okay, next slide. Now I'm going to turn this over to Marquise. He's going to take you through the next few slides while we wait for Christine to show us the magic. Marquise, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Rick, and welcome everyone. Either good morning or good afternoon to you. So as Rick was so eloquently explained, when it comes to implementing all of your systems, you really want to engage all of your end users to ensure that they're using everything to the best of their ability. So with ClickLearn, we're essentially here to help you help your users. So by doing that, we want to empower everyone on your team so that way they can always upskill themselves and really focus on the task at hand instead of asking you all the time, how do I do this, or how do I do that, or maybe you need an ISO standard and you noticed, oh, all of my documentation is out of order. How are we going to get our ISO 9001? So these are just some examples that we're always here to assist with and help you move forward with. So when it comes to ClickLearn, we're helping with increasing that productivity, and you spend all this time implementing these systems. We want to ensure that you're actually getting an ROI on what you're doing, not just from a financial standpoint, but then also a user standpoint to ensure that everyone is engaged going forward. And we've put in some few features with ClickLearn and to achieve that. So essentially, ClickLearn itself is a small application that just sits on the PC of the authors. So we have two types of users here at ClickLearn. We have authors, those who are creating the content, which we'll see how to do in a bit with Christine. And then we also have end users, those who are consuming the content. So once an author has installed ClickLearn onto their PC, they essentially just need to record their processes, and they do this by essentially clicking through their process as you normally would. Then from there, you're able to produce the material. And as Rick was mentioning, when it comes to localization and translations, you're also then able to do all of those translations in the production stage. And then finally, you're able to publish everything. And when you publish the material for the end users, those who are consuming the content, this can all be done through a hyperlink. So it can be accessed on a mobile phone, on a tablet, on a desktop, any device that someone is using. And they can also download the material to use it offline as well. So this way we can always then have that flexibility for you. ClickLearn also records across different applications. So if your project is focused on ERP, but you also have CRM or Business Central or any other applications that you may be using as far as third party, ClickLearn can actually record across those. So you don't need to start and stop the recording, and this just adds to that ease as a lot of people aren't working in a single system. In the event someone is new to the organization, or maybe they're doing a process maybe once a month and they maybe forgotten the steps, there's a virtual assistant that'll also help guide them through those processes. They just click for help in that top right-hand corner, and then they'll be guided through the process step by step. So this really speeds up the onboarding and helps everyone gain that confidence in what they're doing, as there'll be fewer mistakes that are made. There are also some built-in learning analytics, so this way you're not just creating learning material and then shooting it out into the void. You'll be able to future-proof your processes and understand how your users are learning, so they can always leave feedback as far as ratings, they can leave comments, and this is just to ensure that everyone is on the same page and aligned within your organization. We also have what's called the replay functionality. And what we mean by that is, as your systems update, you want to ensure that they're future-proofed. So with ClickLearn, you don't need to re-record all of your processes over again. You just click that replay button, and then everything will be updated for you automatically. So if you're on Business Central 14 or another application, and then you're updating to 19, you won't need to re-record that because a button has moved. You just click that replay button, and then everything will be updated for you. When it comes to the advantages of ClickLearn, essentially you're able to save around 80% of your time when it comes to creating training material and documentation. And this is compared to doing things by hand. So you'll no longer need to type out your Word documents or PowerPoints. You'll no longer need to create your own videos. With ClickLearn, we're able to provide you with 7 different types of learning materials. So these will be different videos, try me videos. There's going to be tests as well. So this way the users can get a hands-on approach for everything. When it comes to your back end side of things, will help reduce tickets. So that way there'll be fewer tickets that are coming in, or phone calls of people asking, how do I do this? How do I do that? And then with all of the dashboards, you'll then have those metrics alongside. So that's essentially it with ClickLearn, and of course you'll just be able to see how everything works, and then I'll be handing things to Christine. And if you have any questions that came along during this presentation, please feel free to put those into the comment section, and then we can answer those along the way. So Christine, I'll then hand everything off to you.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you, Marquise. So I'm going to start showing my screen, make sure I've got the right one here ready. And let me just, I wonder if I can minimize this. Hold on. Make sure I've got the right screen.
I think you need to pull it over a bit.
I'll minimize here. This is what I was looking for. Can I do that? Okay. Tell me now, are you able to see my Summit North America project?
No, I think you need to pull your screen over a bit. So if you can pull the entire studio over, I can only see it on half the screen.
Okay.
So essentially what Christine is pulling up right now is the ClickLearn application itself, so the one that's sitting on the user's desktop. So what we're looking at now is what the authors, those who are creating the content, will be looking at, and then they'll be able to do all of their recordings from here. And ClickLearn also has some collaborative efforts, so if you have a larger team, you can essentially all work together and you can assign roles for that as well.
Okay.
So that's how that works.
Because I'm just on my monitor, so apologies for any confusion. It's been a while since, but hopefully you're able to see now. Are you able to see?
Yes, we can now see your CRM sandbox.
Okay. Now, right? Here we are. So the things that you do need in order to create material, of course, you all are going to be your own subject matter experts, or you're going to have your business requirements documents. And I'm just going to use our customer engagement sandbox to be able to show you how quick and easy it is once you know what that process is. So using ClickLearn, you would create a project, and inside that project is where your teams can all work in collaboration. So you don't have to have people opening a separate video editor on someone else's monitor or in their application. Everyone will be able to work inside ClickLearn, inside that project that you'll be creating. And the materials will be stored right here on this recordings tab. And then you're going to build what we call a structure. So once the materials have been recorded and you then want to get them delivered out to your end users, this is what you're going to use to build that structure to get those materials out to your end users. But to Rick's point earlier, let's go ahead and show you a little bit of the magic of ClickLearn, truly how easy it is, because all of the templating that's done for you is just the most powerful feature. That 80% time saving is you'll be able to get everything created and quickly edited and sent out to your end users. So for my purposes today, I'm going to show you how we're going to validate some account information. So if I have an end user that monitors an electronic inbox and they need to be able to create material to show how to update various areas inside of account information. ClickLearn has this unique recording sidebar. So I'm going to tell ClickLearn that I have 2 or more steps that I want to be able to capture. And then once I start recording, ClickLearn essentially goes behind my solution. And because I am using a Microsoft product, and we do have that partnership with Microsoft, anywhere I move around inside, ClickLearn is going to be able to show how my outline is going to be able to capture all of those details. So I have the connector technology up here is what's going to allow me to capture the steps. And so as I go through and I capture all of these details, now I'm just going to select an account. And I'm just capturing the steps. Capture whatever the details are that I need to be able to follow along in my recording process. And then when I'm done with my recording, I'm simply going to use the control keys on the keyboard. ClickLearn has captured all of my steps, and then I return into my recordings. Here I'm going to place it on the recordings list. And then ClickLearn is going to be creating all of those learning materials. So now when I open up any of the recordings that I've created, ClickLearn is going to already produce all of my materials. So I've got these neatly cropped screen captures, and as I scroll up just a little bit, you can see I have 3 videos that have been created. I have a wordy PDF of PowerPoint that's been created, and I do also have the live assistant. This is my avatar that will display and take my end users through the process inside once I embed this link inside my application. So I have all of my steps over here to be able to do editing. And then as I scroll down, you'll be able to see all of the steps that are outlined with those neatly cropped screen captures. So now I can do a little bit of editing here. I can take some of these steps, particularly some of these that are right here. I've got an account name, a phone field. So if I want to be able to take these items and group them together because they're on the same page, now I have a variety of editing features. Notice that I also have a written editor, a video editor, a live assistant editor, a flow editor. So if you do have branching, if those good old if-then statements, and I have a data editor. So if your data changes, you can go ahead and update it with whatever more recent information that you would need to be able to update your recording. And so then from here, I'll be able to take and do things like group them together. So I have an account name field and a phone field that are both in the same area. So now I'm simply going to group them together. And when I add the group, I'm going to just say, I can validate summary tab details. I could leave it as a numbered list, or I can go ahead and show it as a bulleted list. When I have the image, now I can go ahead, if I have 2 or more items, I can make this detail a little bit more robust. So my end users will be able to see in a full area where they'll be able to use or click through those steps. And then once I save it and I come back in here, now my items are grouped together. So it saves a little bit of real estate on that web page for your end users. It'll save a little bit of real estate on your Word document, your PDF document. Some of the other things that you can do, just again, give you an idea of the editing functionality. I'm going to select the very top step because I want to provide a little bit of an explanation to my end users how to use this guide. So from here, now I have editing a new text block. And I have a variety of ways that I can go ahead and enter that information. If I have images, I also can bring images in to my recording. I can select the text. If I wanted to mimic the current templating, I can do that as well. I just want to provide a little bit of an explanation. So I'm going to create a text block. And now with the text information, I'm going to simply tell my end users, and I can be as wordy as I want here. I can tell them to go and check that electronic inbox. I can tell them to make sure that they save their information before they exit. You get the idea. I could tell them what details, if there's any mandatory information that they need to complete as well. So from here, I now have this really great little explanation. If I come over and I look at my video from a video perspective, now I can preview that. And again, as the author, I'm working on it from the back end. So I'll be able to do all of this information without my end users having seen it. So here I can go ahead and run the show me, the try me, or the test me video. I also am looking down at that same list of all of the information. And here I can do a little bit of editing. If I don't want my end users while they're in the video mode to read through that initial information, I can choose to just exclude that one information block from my video. And then my videos will all start running from right here with that very first step. When I come back over to the video editor, it's still going to be visible. So any of my written materials, that will still be valid. When I save all of these changes that I've made, now ClickLearn is taking the time for all of the changes that we've made, and it's pushing it all over to the other information, the other learning materials. So now when I come over here, if I want to take a look at the PDF, I can preview all of this information ahead of time. And here you can see all of this templating has been done as well. Everything is customizable. So you can see this was created by my colleague Peter for our summit where we had our original presentation, and any of the steps that we've made the updates to, here's our text that we've provided, here's the couple of steps that we've grouped together, and here are the rest of the steps that ClickLearn will be able, or that the Live Assistant will be able to follow through. If I want to be able to look at the video, I can see the show me, the try me, the test me video. The show me video will run my end users through the steps and it will stream. Let's go ahead and take a look at that together. Now you may not be hearing that. I think that with the voice meter, my audio may not be coming through, but there is a variety of voices. So, and I don't know if we touched on it with any of the screens. Apologies, I was so excited earlier. But we do also have over 100 languages. We've got many more dialects. We have male and female voices. So if you do need to translate into multiple languages, if you've got a global business, or even if you've got global employees internally, that would be helpful. They can view it in their native language. They could also read it visually in their native language. And all of that is also available as part of the replay function that ClickLearn provides. You have an optional feedback panel for your end users, so that way they can select a sentiment face. If they add any comments, all of this will then feed back into your project, into the dashboard analytics. So when we get to talking about user adoption, it just really is when the rubber hits the road. Are your end users comfortable? Are they touching the material that you've provided for them to be able to actively use the great solution that you've built for them? You'll be able to see that from the dashboard analytics as well. The Try Me video, this becomes interactive. So again, keep in mind from the one recording through the steps that we've gone through, that ClickLearn has created all of these materials. Nope. So now ClickLearn is providing me with the guided instruction, and it's going to remain here even though I'm going to click everywhere around it. ClickLearn wants me to learn. It wants me to develop that muscle memory. So it's going to remain in that place and space until I actually click. And if the red looks a little offensive, again, that's another piece of the templating or the customization. So if you've got a company color, if you'd like a nice blue, if you have a purple color, go ahead and feel like get that RGB color or whatever that basic color is, and you can go ahead and make an update to that as well. So this example is also showing cross-platform. So ClickLearn, again, keep in mind that not only do we have the connector technology for Microsoft suites, other ERP systems that we partner with, you can also go cross-platform to web-based applications as well. Here we have the Test Me video. The Test Me video now, I better have been paying attention because ClickLearn is going to ask me to go through the steps. And if I don't find that first step, that little errant step, so I'm going to show you, I'm going to click about 4 or 5 times. After that fourth click, then ClickLearn is going to present me with that spot. So now I'm going to follow along. Better have been paying attention. Do I have my coffee in me now or my afternoon caffeine? I'm going to click through the fields. Notice I'm not clicking on the name of the field. I'm actually clicking where my end users would be clicking to go through. And now I'm being asked to come over here to the ideas. I'm going to select the challenges. And at the end of this Test Me video, your end users will get that detailed evaluation. So that will let you know whether or not, do I need to go back and review, refresh the memory? Yes or no. So here you can see that ClickLearn, yeah, I failed that one step, but I was spot on with the rest of them. The Test Me video is SCORM compliant. So if you have a learning management system, you can customize the template to create a SCORM link that will then feed that into your LMS, and it'll attach to the transcript of whoever the person is that has taken that test. So you see how very powerful all of these pieces are. And of course, we have the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint is really great for your trainers. So where Rick was mentioning about the one line that you'll need to provide training, this is a great way to be able to show the material to your end users, and they'll have multiple exposure to it. So if the end users are going to use this for their training material, they'll be able to put it into a PowerPoint format, whether it's remote training or in classroom. Those days are starting to come back. And you can see it's now in a full screen. So where in our documentation, we had the neatly cropped screenshots, and on the web page, now your end users will be able to see and view. And again, this is all customizable in different ways that you can, as you can see. So they'll be able to participate. The The trainers will be able to provide this training for the end users, and then the end users will see it again once you place it on that link for them to touch themselves. So how do we get there? I'm going to save. We've just looked at everything that we've created, and then inside our application, we now have it stored here on our recordings tab. This structure tab is where the end user's experience is going to be. So we have a variety of components over here in this top right-hand corner that you simply drag and drop that component out onto the desktop. You have some a capability to then take recordings and drop the recordings into that particular field. And you can see in this particular project, this one has also been created with a variety of languages. That's ClickLearn using the replay technology. So you don't have to recreate the wheel in a variety of languages. You just use ClickLearn replay function, and you'll run the same recording through your application, and ClickLearn is going to capture those steps, and it's also going to translate it into whatever the languages you have chosen. If I want to see what this end user experience is going to look like for my end users, I come here to preview. And when I preview the structure, this is what my end user experience is going to be. So I, as the author, have created all the learning material. I've built the structure. I've dragged and dropped components here. I've added hyperlinks. So if you have any web-based applications, anything that end user, if you have a field services or materials management or even accounts, you can put something like a Bing Maps or a Maps application out here that they can click to go find the address. So if I'm working as a maintenance, service maintenance, I'm going to want to find an address where I need to go to perform my work services. If I'm working as an account manager, of course, I'd like to be able to look at the address to see what my new potential client is going to, where they're located. These links I could also, so we can go ahead and learn more about ClickLearn. I can try my link. We've got the link working really well. If I want to open up any of my materials, I can come down here and look to see about how to create an account. And again, I'm doing this all behind the scenes just to make sure that this is going to be great content that my end users are going to be able to touch. And sure enough, here's all of my work instructions. This particular example has actually got some typed information, so that's part of the templating as well. Anytime you see something in that red bolded text, that means that that's been typed in at the time that the material, the recording was being created. So we even offer where if you have to use a key on the keyboard to enter some information, you can do that as well. Then once we take this material and we'll run it through localization to get all of those international languages, then we have a publishing area, and ClickLearn will produce and publish. So that's another templated area. You don't have to, there's no coding involved for you, for ClickLearn or for you to build the web page. ClickLearn is going to do that for you. So you take it through that producing and publishing process, and then you're going to be able to have a link. And that HTML link can then be embedded into your solution. This particular example I'm just going to show you here. This is what we were just looking at. And this is also inside, it can be embedded into various Microsoft solutions, various other ERPs. It can be embedded into a SharePoint site. So if you have a learning channel, you can go ahead and have the learning channel created for your SharePoint site inside your application. And here is where in our solution, it's going to display on your ribbon. So now we have a variety of applications. So this one here, our learning portal across multiple systems. Now I can, as an end user, this is my end user experience. And if I want to be looking at any of these materials in a different language, here in the real world, in your live environment, notice this little silver globe in the top right-hand corner. So now when I select this silver globe, if I want to see it in a different language, I can see it in Japanese. I can see it in French. And this is just not here on the main page. Now when I drill down into one of these areas, it goes all the way down through our solution. And if I want to be able to see the documentation, notice that we have all of the step-by-step has been captured. This has been updated as well. And then I also have the ability to run the videos, which will then include the audio for that language, as well as all of the documentation. So if I do want to take a look at it, if I just want to grab a quick PDF and go through the step-by-step instruction, again, you can see truly this is also another great time saver, especially for those of you that have the global businesses in multiple countries around the world. It really is such a great tool and a time saver. Also a little bit of a, translation services there. They're not, I don't want to say that they're cheap, but this is going to put it all together in one package, just making it that much more of a time saving effort and a dollar saving effort on your part. So if I want to look at it here, if I want some help when I'm down here in my accounts, I'm going to come here, and this is where I'll be able to launch my live assistant. So if I need some help with adding a contact to an account or even creating an account, editing an account, I can come here. The live assistant is context sensitive. So anywhere that I have material created, as an end user, I can come right here to that level and it's going to open up. All I need to do is be able to edit an account. The live assistant now displays. And as I've been mentioning multiple times, this is also editable. So we do have some characterizations, both male and female, binary, or if you have a mascot that you want to be able to place your mascot, if you have whatever, if you've got a bee or an object, you can go ahead and customize that. And now the live assistant is just that. It's live inside my production environment. So if you have an employee from day one that's never seen your application, but yet maybe in a pinch they're being asked, can you just go ahead, here's some information for this particular account, can you just please go in there and update this account for me, edit this information? Yes, you can. So now you're going to get that guided assistance. They're a little sleepy this morning. Let me see, can I help find a step? Oh, it's looking for our adventure works. There we go. So now that we're inside, these are the fields that it's going to guide me through. I'm going to make any updates that I need to. If I need to be changing the account, I'll be able to do that. And so as you can see, ClickLearn is following the same work instructions that are on the learning portal as is the same for the videos that we saw, the Word, the PDF, the PowerPoint. So your message is consistent. And this is really all about different learning styles. Not everyone works the same way. They don't have that same learning ability. There are some people that are perfectly happy to just get right to the nuts and bolts and take advantage of using a live assistant. There are some that would rather see watch a video, be comfortable with that. There are some that just want to print out a PDF or a Word document and get right to work with using all of those. So at the end of all of the videos, at the bottom of every web page, let's just take a look again here. At the bottom of every web page, the templating that's also been provided is going to be down here at the very bottom of every web page is an optional feedback panel. It's at the end of the Show Me video. It's also at the end of the Try Me video. And these are all great ways to encourage, as part of change management, learning and development teams, get your end users to go ahead and provide you some feedback. Select a sentiment face, add a couple of comments, and when they submit that, any information from anyone that's left you any feedback, it's going to be reflected inside your project in the dashboard analytics. So I just want to take a moment now Now that we've seen all of this magic, how quickly we were able to create something, put it into a structured format, get it produced and out to your end users to consume this information, back here inside ClickLearn, we have a dashboard that you, sure, we'll save the structure. I don't think I made any changes, but we'll save it. So this dashboard is now very robust. Oh, come on, show me the dashboard. And so the dashboard has a variety of tiles that your end users would be reflected in here. And you have a variety of weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly that you can then refresh the data, take a look at it, and it's going to show you the consumption. It's going to show you the dates that people touched your material. This contents rating over here, that's where you're going to get the bang for your buck from the feedback panel. This will represent as a bar graph, and then any one of those bar graphs you could touch, and it'll show you who the person was, what their email address is, what the material is that they were touching, any feedback they left, and it'll give you a time, date stamp on that information. So all of this is broken down into no less than a half a dozen different fields, and you'll be able to export any of that material using the export data. It'll export the names of your personnel into a Excel format, and then you can slice and dice that information further. So if you have some business managers that are asking for a report to confirm that their direct reports have completed all of the recordings for the particular folder in the structure that they need to, you'll be able to do that simply by exporting the data and putting it into a format for those immediate business managers. You also have the capability to copy what we call our OData feed, and you can take this and put it into a Power BI a dashboard. So if you're comfortable or proficient using Power BI, simply copy the data, go into your Power BI, insert the data there, and then you can go ahead and select all of the data and the visualizations that you want for your data there. So there's a variety of ways for you to be able to take this content. Another item that you could also use is that Test Me video. And the Test Me video down here with your publishing template is where you would go to set up the SCORM compliant link to then send to your LMS technical team to embed. And anytime anyone takes that Test Me video from that learning portal link, you don't even have to worry about coming in here and copying and pushing that data. That will automatically get pushed over into your LMS. So all of the data, again, the end game is always, are your users adopting your solution? And ClickLearn has provided multiple ways for them to be able to access the material, multiple ways for you to be able to embed it into places to get it close to your end user's fingertips, and then help you extract that data out so you can confidently say, yes, my end users are using my product. I see that they're touching the materials here. They're taking the tests. We have all of that, the ROIs, and if you have any KPIs associated with your solution, with your project. So I know that I've covered a lot of details here. Marquise or Rick, shall we open the floor? Are there any questions that we need to address or take a look at?
Yes, we have a few questions. So are you ready for questions, Christine?
Fire away.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? Please add them to the question box. First question, can you embed it into a sandbox environment for initial training for new employees?
Absolutely. What you were seeing that where we have it embedded is right here in our very own sandbox. So that would certainly be encouraging. You don't ever want to use a production environment to create materials or to test material. You're always going to want to keep it in a sandbox environment.
Okay, so we're doing the demo today on Dynamics CRM or 365 CE. What other applications do you support within Dynamics and outside of Dynamics?
That's a great question too. So we are a Microsoft Gold partner, and anything that has Microsoft attached to it, we support. We have a connector for that. So that would be your Business Central. That would be and any of the Power apps, AX, F&O. So we actually have nav. So outside, we also have a custom web application. So if you do have an application that you use in conjunction with your Microsoft products, we have a connector for that you can capture that information. And we do have another ERP that we partner with. Their IFS is the app. We also have a Salesforce app. We have Oracle. So yeah, we and GP. We actually have the Microsoft GP.
So we cover all the Microsoft ERPs along with Office, Teams, those types of products. Okay, great. The next question is, can you record across applications? Because we showed this being recorded within CRM. So if I was going CRM out to SharePoint, out to Outlook, could I keep recording?
Yes, absolutely you can. And let me see, let me get my little Mr. Man out of here. So yeah, you can definitely do that. One of the recorded items that I had, I think, let me see which one that is. Yes, you certainly can. And one of the examples that we had was going cross-platform. Let me see if I have it in here. Cross-platform recording. From the accounts to ClickLearn, we had the challenge to be able to go into the challenge and the ideas. So yeah, just on a quick skinny, because I know with other questions to come up, but yes, absolutely. You can go through a variety of applications, cross-platform. You don't have to, you can pause and move things around, but otherwise ClickLearn is seamless.
Okay, the next question is, from a learning portal perspective, what if I don't want to use your learning portal? Can I use the corporate learning portal and load the ClickLearn content into it?
There are certain pieces of it that you can. Keep in mind that when you open up the Microsoft Word document or you open up the PDF document in those different formats, as long as you have those solutions, those applications loaded, you can. The videos they remain on our learning platform. But again, this is an HTML link, so you can take the entire link and load that into your LMS for your end users to be able to attach and open up and have access to everything for each one of those recordings.
And your portal is included in the licensing, right? It's not an extra.
That's correct. Yes, it's part of the license.
All right, let's see what else we have here. I was looking on the website and I see a reference to a ClickLearn author. What is a ClickLearn author and what do they do?
A ClickLearn author is the person that will use ClickLearn to create the material. Within the ClickLearn solution, there are only two roles actually. One is going to be an author, one is going to be an administrator. The author is going to be able to use ClickLearn to create the recording as you saw. They're also going to be able to edit in any of those editing functions. They're going to be able to place those recordings onto the structure. They're able to bring in assets to be able to further enrich any of the recordings that they have. So, and they'll also be able to use the localization to be able to translate the recordings into other languages.
Okay, Christine, I think that's all our questions. So would you like to add anything else to today's session?
Golly, if there's anything that you'd like to see in greater depth from today's session, I would just really encourage you to go ahead and if you've been out to our website, go ahead and take a look at how you can take a trial. And that way, if there's any particular systems that you use that we haven't talked about, and one of them might, if it's a custom web application, go ahead and take that trial demo and we'll be able to have you drive it yourself.
Okay, thank you, Christine. I just want to add that the first time I ever met the people at ClickLearn was like 3 or 4 years ago at the user group conference in Phoenix, and I was teaching CRM best practices and project management, and I had students coming in the room saying, "Have you seen ClickLearn?" And I said, "No." And then after a few of them came in, I finally went out in the hallway and I saw ClickLearn, and that's the first time I witnessed the magic of ClickLearn. And I think, you know, the customers I know that have purchased the product so far that are using it tell me that, you know, they would never be able to create this level of documentation or this level of learning materials with their current team without this tool. So I think, the magic's there, the ROI is there. So please, reach out to the team at ClickLearn if you need any more information.
That's great. Marquise, any other words? Would you like to say hello or close with any comments?
Yes, thank you. Just thank you everyone so much for your time today. It was greatly appreciated, and thank you for the questions as well.
Okay, we look forward to talking to you more about ClickLearn, and have a great day, everybody.
See you in another session. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.